Welcome, everyone, to the Xhale podcast, where we talk about spearfishing, freediving, gear, and good times. What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 4 of the Xhale podcast. I'm your host, Eric Xhale. I'm here with our other host, Rodman Lees. How's it going, Rodman?
Good evening, Eric. It's going well, man. Can't complain.
Cool.
Back at it again.
We've got another exciting episode here. Start off by thanking and
shouting out our sponsors. Ballast Freediving. Thanks to those guys. Awesome gear, hats, gloves, rash guards, all sorts of good stuff. Check them out on Instagram or their website, Ballast Freediving, as well as Teach Me to Freedive. If you got a bunch of gear, you got to figure out how to use it. Learn how to dive safely. Right, that's the main part of it. You learn how to do it safely. The results will follow. Learn how to breathe correctly. You can hold your breath longer, kick more efficiently, dive deeper.
Efficiency, name of the game.
Yeah. And if you're not going to take it, at least get your dive buddy to take it. That way he's safety in your reckless butt.
Little awkward moment there.
There you go. All right, man. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
First topic, beach diving. So I have a love-hate relationship with beach diving.
Have you beach dove much?
Yeah, a bunch.
A lot, or?
Growing up, man, growing up I did a lot of both, but I wasn't as spoiled as I am now, let's say, and I did a lot more beach diving.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I lived out in Hawaii for a little bit, and I was all beach diving pretty much. If I working, I was on the boat for sure, but in my free time, there's a lot of excellent beach diving there, nice. And that's where like the hate kind of comes in too. It's a lot of rocky shorelines, stuff like that. So you're kind of scrambling over boulders, and if your feet slips, that's definitely going to be the crack that the sea urchin's going to be in, stuff like that. Barnacles and sea urchins.
Have you ever stepped on an urchin?
Oh, man.
Like bad?
Yeah.
Things are gnarly.
It like tattooed my foot purple. The pad of my foot was just purple for a little while.
No way.
They say to pee on it, but I think they say that about everything, right? Like
I don't think you pee on an urchin.
I don't know.
I don't think that works.
Why? The Vana, as they call them in Hawaii.
There's nothing you can do about it, too. It's just...
No, you try to pull those things out, they're just super brittle.
Yeah, they just break.
Yeah, nothing good happens from that. It sucks.
I used to work at a summer camp down in the Keys, and we used to have little kids step on urchins all the time. It was brutal, dude.
Such a bummer.
They would cry for hours.
Such a bummer. It sucks, man. Like, it hurt. I got it one time so freaking badly. I mean, it took a month probably for them all to dissolve in there.
Yeah,
it was insane.
Grody.
It was absolutely grody. If you're on Maui, there's a dive spot called Mala Wharf, and that place is just epic. So cool. Such a cool beach dive. But I got nailed there because it's always a little rough too. So you're trying to scramble on this boulder, and you ride the wave up, and like, I got it, and then it like sucks you back out, and you don't have it. But same thing diving off of, especially the east. Well, it's tough. The west coast of Florida, beach diving to Viz is terrible, man.
Yeah.
But beach diving, east coast of Florida, there's not a lot of area. Like you swim, a couple 100 yards offshore, and now you're getting into like really deep stuff, and into a lot of current. You kind of have...
Current is the main issue there, I would say.
You kind of have... But you can play the current, too. So, by my mom's house, we used to go and park a car. We'd take one car, way south, and then dive and take the current all the way back. And that's how we would do our lobster season. And you could stay pretty shallow off of, like, anywhere from, like, Lantana up to, like, the Palm Beach Inlet, basically. There's... like limestone shelves, pretty dang shallow, and so we would just drift those and hit those pretty good, and come out where we could get picked up and then drive back down to that car. So 2 cars, man, it was a pretty effective for a lobster. But I shot my first cobia doing exactly that. I shot my first cobia in like 15 feet of water.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've actually heard a lot of people have shot pretty decent sized cobia beach diving, and a lot of like first cobias beach diving.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to go chase rays, rod and reel fishing for him, and that was always super shallow as well.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was. You know, I was pretty young. Had no idea what it was, but I
shot a shark.
My Hawaiian, basically, dude, I thought it was a massive remora just sitting on like a ray was buried, and this thing was just sitting there. And all I knew was that it was huge, so I blasted that, free shafted it with a Hawaiian sling, and
there you go.
Just rolled it. I'm so lucky. I had no idea how lucky it was. You know, it was a 1 in a million shot.
No more kids table with those big boy moves.
Exactly. So yeah, I really like beach diving. There's a bunch of good ways to do it. On the, anywhere around us, there's no secret spots. The diveable area is only a mile wide at the most. So north or south might change, but east and west, everyone's diving the same area. So there's very few, if any, secret spots. And what's good about beach diving is there's a bunch of tools that you can use, not only fishing charts and stuff like that, but Google Earth is freaking so cool with that. Zoom in on Google Earth, you can see the structure off the beach. And then even with that, you can find parking and beach access. Google Earth or Google Maps is a crazy tool of that.
Yeah. There's another, and I just thought of this, but one of my buddies that I met at Springfest, Twan, super nice guy, awesome guy to dive with. I hope I pronounced his name right.
Is that like Sean with a lisp?
No.
All right.
Twan, I think that's right. Super cool guy. And he has a website that he runs called, I think it's Shore Dive Florida.
Nice.
I want to double check on my phone here. See, this is why we need a Google person.
Mo, where are you, Mo?
Are you Googleizer?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll double check that in a second here. But yeah, really good resource actually. He's got a lot of good information. This kid, struggling with words today. This kid beach dives pretty much all the time, exclusively, and he's like diving for dinner and stuff every day. So it's pretty legit,
awesome, man. That's awesome. So Google Earth is a super powerful tool. I remember I was fishing. I was like 13, maybe. With my buddy's dad. Oh god, this trip has a bunch of my buddy's dad. My buddy's name is Will. His dad was Willie, and we used to go out fishing. The guy's just a salty old dude and just crush it fishing. So we're out there, and I'm like rigging up some bait, and we're out trolling. And I look over. This guy just looks like a pirate, a modern day pirate. I look over, and he's wearing nothing but tighty whities, and he just had to like roll with it. I'm like, savage. Oh, all right, getting that all over tan. The guy is super funny. But he's like, man, the government's got satellites in space, like the Hubble telescope. You heard of the Hubble telescope? I was like, yeah, I know the Hubble. They got 100 of those pointing backwards at us. And I'm like, Willie, you're crazy, dude. Like, you're a paranoid government nut. Like,
if there was a Hubble telescope pointing at you right now and be looking at, like, the pores on your nose.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I laughed it off, called him paranoid, and 2 months later, Google Earth came out. And I was like, oh, well, he might have been onto something there. Yes, but anyway, Google Earth is an awesome resource for it.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a bunch of other stuff that's designed for beach diving that works really well. And then out of Hawaii, they're like beach diving pelagics. It drops off so fast, like the south point of the Big Island, and they're shooting like wahoo, dolphin, all sorts of cool stuff. And for that, you need a flasher. They make beach diving flashers. JBL and Rob Allen both have one that folds up into like a little PVC capsule, and you can have it just strapped to your belt, super compact. It's not going to get tangled in anything. Super easy to deploy. Swim out to where you're going and let it drop. I actually use it a lot in the Bahamas. Mutton especially love that thing. But if you're diving the drop off, African pompano, permit, all that kind of stuff really come into those flashers. And when you're not using it, it just folds up on your belt super easy. You also have to have a flag. Flag rules are a little bit different when beach diving than on the boat. So boat's 20 by 24 with a stiffener. The beach is 12 by 12 square with a stiffener. If I'm taking the flag, though, I'm going to take the boat flag. Why have two flags? Just have the one big one.
Or what's cool is that high flyer. That thing's pretty visible.
Yeah, that thing is massive. So what the high flyer is it's a dive flag buoy with like a float dive flag, but it has an extra extension of fiberglass, the fiberglass mast, if you will.
It's 10 minutes. I got to stop you.
All right.
10 minutes into all of our episodes, we're going to do story time. So we're going to go ahead and stop this discussion right now and start with stories. What do you got?
Cool. All right.
I went first last time.
All right, I'll go first this time.
And I actually never thought of anything to tell yet. So.
All right, well, maybe this will spur something. So I got a buddy, Cameron, who is an awesome freediver, awesome guy in general, man. The guy's just a complete stud. He's a pilot, now a commercial pilot. So if you're flying across country, he might be your pilot. But him being a pilot, we can get to the Bahamas really easily. Rent a plane and go there, and it's just the cost is super similar to running a boat over there. However, you can like eat breakfast at a normal time, hop in the plane, and you're still diving at a regular time. It works out. You can get spoiled pretty easily doing that.
Definitely.
And he's a stud and wants to dive too. So Cameron, spearfishing, gets bit by a shark on his hand. Luckily, it all worked out for him really well. And you think like once bitten, twice shy. My next time I'm diving with him after his shark bite incident, he comes over and we're trying to stay in a group, and he keeps wandering a little outside of our dive group. And, I talked to him about it, and he's chasing fish. You can't, sometimes it's hard to control that adrenaline.
For sure.
So he starts yelling like, I got a fish, but there's a shark. So I sprint over, expecting him to be, a little paranoid, right? Because he just got bit. So I dive down. He's got a pretty good sized grouper in the hole. I dive down, kind of assess the scene. I see obviously there's a shaft sticking out of the hole. With green ooze coming out. I'm looking for a shark and I don't see anything. He's like, all right, it's in there. I'm gonna make a dive on it, and there's a shark. So just pay attention. All right, Cam, go for it. He dives down, works the grouper a little bit, gets it almost there, but it kicks and goes back in the hole, and he doesn't want to play it. I'm diving with him. He sees as that's going on, I see the shark swim around the corner, and the thing's like a 3.5 foot reef shark, maybe. Which those ones kind of spook me the most because they're always super darty, and they don't really know yet. Yeah. So I kind of push that one to the side, and that's shark strategy is a whole another topic. But I push that one away, and we come up together, and he's like, not that. He's like, what? I was like, hey, I pushed the shark away. He's like, not that shark. That's not the shark that I was talking about. I look down, there's a freaking 7.5 foot reef shark cruising. I'm like, Cameron, how much is this shark worth? How much is this fish worth to you? You're diving with a school of sharks in a hole. The fish has been in there now 15 minutes, just bleeding up a storm, thrashing around in the hole, and he's just not even fazed by it after he's already been bit. Man, it's sometimes it takes moments like that to where you're like, let's define our shark strategy and really our spearfishing strategy as a whole, so we can mitigate as much of this risk as possible, not get ourselves into these situations. We wind up getting the fish out, and we just did it textbook by the book, how to once you're in those situations, how to do it safely, or as safe as possible, I should say.
Yeah, definitely.
But the guy's an absolute nutcase. Gets bit on his hand, of all places, and then just right back at it, trying to rip a fish out of a hole by himself and a lot of times I see people making silly calls with sharks. I'm like, they just don't know. They've never been around someone getting bit by a shark or something like that. Cameron not only has been around it, he's been bitten, and he's still going back, just getting after it.
Yeah. And not saying anything towards him, but I definitely see people that are just freaking reckless, dude. I'm not going to name names, but there's some people on Instagram putting up photos and videos of them around sharks that are just reckless. There's some really cool stuff going on that I have no problem with, but there's some really bad stuff going on with sharks that I'm not a fan of.
There's a I'm going to double down on that, man. I think there's a lot of stuff that looks cool. You get beautiful pictures with, and sharks are awesome. I think grizzly bears are awesome. But if you're going around petting grizzly bears, it's only going to end one way. If you're going around petting tiger sharks, only going to end one way. I worked on a boat going to Tiger Shark Beach for a while. Like I did that. Like I've seen it firsthand. I was the guy in the water pushing sharks around.
Yeah.
Like I'm not coming from an angle where I've saw on Instagram. Like I got paid to do this. It's stupid. Like it's not, especially like if you want to do it, if you want to be stupid, go for it. If you want to hit yourself in the face with a frying pan, go for it. Who am I to say anything different? I think if you're doing it spearfishing, you're setting a dangerous example. You can do that. It's America. You can set a dangerous example. But if you are doing it saying that you're conducting scientific research, or that you are studying the behavior of sharks, you're lying. You're not only lying to yourself, but you're lying to the scientific community. That if you bait bears with picnic baskets, you're affecting their behavior. You're not studying their natural behavior. Same thing if you chum in a bunch of massive tiger sharks, you're affecting their behavior. They all congregate in one area and we don't know why. Maybe that's the area that you keep chumming over and over and over again, and they keep getting free meals. Maybe that has something to do with the fact that, hey, we keep finding tiger sharks in this one area that we keep chumming.
Yeah. And just to like elaborate on that a little bit, I guess, you see like shows like Planet Earth that are obviously, they have like amazing shots of wild creatures doing crazy stuff. And some of that stuff is staged, but I'm talking about shots of like rare big cats and like animals that they're filming from like a mile away through huge telephoto lenses. Like that's observing animals in their natural habitat. Filming sharks eating off a crate of chum and you like caressing them is not filming animals in their natural habitat.
I think it's cool and it's freaking badass, but don't pretend you're doing scientific research. Don't pretend like it's good for spearfishing either. I see a lot of people say like, well, when you're spearfishing, let's say we're chumming spearfishing. Well, you're doing the same thing. We're not. I'm keeping the fish to myself. I'm fighting that shark off. I'm trying everything I can do to make sure that the shark doesn't associate this with food. Back him off. You are hand feeding the shark again and again, and in the same place over and over again. There's a whole different deal going on with those two things.
Yeah.
To say that chumming and spearfishing is the same thing as feeding sharks it's wrong. It's completely wrong. It's completely disingenuous to say that those are the same things, and I don't believe that anyone believes that those are the same things. And if you're trying to justify that it is, you're wrong. Just own that. Hey, I'm doing this for cool pictures. And that's fine. You can do it for cool pictures.
Or for an adrenaline rush or whatever. Yeah,
it's a free country. You want to go pet grizzly bears? Go pet grizzly bears. I'm not telling you not to, but I understand why the park signs say not to. Because not only are you going to get eaten, but if a grizzly bear comes and sniffs some other guy thinking that they have food, and they don't, well, the grizzly bear just might, eat you.
Which has happened. So I guess I'll add on a second story here that we definitely got a little off story topic, but you can't help yourself sometimes. You just can't. We could go with the flow.
Shark finger, that opened up a whole can of worms there that I wasn't planning on.
No, and we might have a little bit more of that this episode as well. So I guess I'll tell a story about the closest. I've never been bit by a shark, thank goodness. But I'll tell the story of the closest I've come to getting bit by a shark. I guess technically it's not the closest because I did have a shark take a fin off my foot one time. Actually, what I said earlier, I worked at a little summer camp in the Keys.
Yeah.
I was on Pigeon Key. We used to spearfish off of the island there, and I had a lemon shark take a fin off my foot one day. It was a bright yellow fin, which I think that's why he was interested in it. But bad viz, and he just came up and felt someone like tugging on it. Anyway, that's a different story. Not as exciting. The closest I've come to being bit by an aggressive shark, we'll put it that way, was in the Bahamas. Tiny reef shark. It wasn't a big shark, maybe 4 feet, something like that. So medium, small size. We were spearfishing one of my favorite spots in the Abacos. Really cool area. I'm not going to get into depth because I want to protect that spot. But it's shallow. It's really shallow, probably 10 feet at the most. And it's just little coral heads scattered around. Pretty small, nothing crazy, but holds huge fish. And it is kind of in the path of a cut between islands. So you get a lot of current through there, which means a lot of sharks usually in the Bahamas. So super sharky area. I was diving with my brother, actually, and I think he shot a pretty good sized hogfish. And I went after this. Actually, no, I'm talking about a different situation. I was diving with some of my other buddies. Totally different trip. Anyway, one of my buddies shot this big hogfish, which was pretty good size. I mean, the thing was definitely 10 plus pounds, and shot it. The thing ripped off and rocked up. And as soon as it rocked up, 2 sharks came around, one being this little 4-footer I was talking about. One was a little bit bigger. The bigger one kind of came through, checked it out, and I saw him just take off in one direction. The smaller one was like kind of doing laps on the edge of visibility after it happened. They just kind of do their thing out where you can barely see them. And he would come in and check out the rock where the hogfish was and then take off again. But I knew he was still there. And it was stupid of me to go after this fish. But one time he left, and I didn't even process the fact, even though I knew in the back of my head he was still around and was going to jump on that thing the second that he had an opportunity to. I still dove, and I saw the hogfish under this little ledge. Shot him with my sling. I was free shafting, and grabbed the fish. The thing was totally dead. Pulled him out of the hole. And when I grabbed it, I grabbed the shaft and the fish together, like up in my chest, and I'm swimming up with the fish, and given it's only 10 feet, like I said. But as I'm swimming up, I'm like just about to hit the surface, and I see both of my dive buddies just like rushing at me. I'm like, guys, what? I got the fish. Like, what are you freaking out about? Like spraying white water as they're coming towards me. And I look down, and this shark is like in between my knees, like coming up through my legs, and mouth open, just teeth flying everywhere. Just wants that fish so bad, but he came in so fast. Those little reef sharks are lightning, dude. They come in so quick, and definitely the closest I've come to getting bit, and I'm glad it didn't happen, but it was wild, man. I've never had adrenaline like that before.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll throw another one out there. The closest I ever came was I'd shot same thing, free shafting. I shot a medium-sized mutton, man, not an absolute doormat, but pretty big. And the thing, I nailed it pretty.
Actually, before you get rolling, I should add, I did not get the fish. I chucked that thing as soon as I looked down and saw that shark. I chucked that fish and let him have it.
Yeah,
I was not messing with that.
Yeah, no, it's tough, man.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so I spine the I pretty much spine it. I don't know how you want to do it. It's doing like those little somersaulty, shivering circles, but it's just out of my reach. Like I just can't catch it, and then I got to go up and get air, go back down, and the process starts over again. So I finally catch it, and the tip of the shaft is through, but the barb isn't all the way through. So I slam it on the bottom and kind of push the fish up the shaft. And I like to, if I can, swim up with a hand on each side of the fish to swim it up. That way, it's not going to come off the back end. I don't have to worry about it ripping through the barb, anything like that. So as soon as I push it up the shaft, I look up, and it's just a black hole of a shark coming straight at me. And it seemed, so the way that I remember it is I see this thing, 2 kicks, mouth opens up, nails the fish right in between my hands. I let go with my left hand, which is on the tip, and I'm just holding the back of it, and thing's just shaking like crazy on the end of the spear, just shredding this mutton, and whap, 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 and it's dragging me all the way around. It's bending the little shaft, whipping me back and forth, and then boom, and it's gone like as fast as it came, and I never really got a good look at it. Well, I had a GoPro strapped to my sling, so, and I don't know how like it got such good video of it, but it's all on video. The shark coming up, biting it, and then me holding the end of the shaft, and what seemed like a good solid minute and a half action between me and the shark was like 5 seconds of GoPro video.
That's the same that my experience was, just immediate.
Yeah.
But felt like an hour.
Bite shook and was gone, but it was just sheer dumb luck that it got the fish out my hand. Like my hands were right there.
Yeah.
I think I was already kind of taking my hand away when the shark got it. Yeah, crazy. I mean, and that's
sketchy, dude. Sharks are scary, man.
Yeah, that was in like Walker's area, and that is just a sharky freaking place, man.
Yeah,
top 3 sharkiest places in the Bahamas for sure.
I feel like it's one of those things that, like inexperienced divers always ask, how do you deal with sharks? There's really not a right answer to that.
Experienced divers ask that. We'll go. I think we should definitely get into that. We'll get into it as a topic on its own. All right. So what's next? We did beach diving, flags 12 by 12.
Did we finish beach diving?
Yeah. So let's just recap it.
I tried to find that website.
Oh no, you cut me off at the high flyer. High flyer is a slick float with a mast that's got that extra extension, so it's really high.
Yeah. Things like 4 feet high.
Yeah, that part of it's awesome, but it's got like the lead weight at the bottom, and then like the long line buoys, those like conical shaped buoys that look like a bullet. Kinda.
So when you pull on it, it dunks the flag.
Yeah, you can like bridle it kind of, but it still sucks, man. I think if you're going to go beach diving, use a float line and a float. You're already towing a float. You might as well use the float line. The hard part of the float line's over, and now you're only getting the benefits of the float line.
And quite a few floats are built for that.
Man.
Put the weight in the bottom of them and the flag sticking out the top. The Rob Allen hard floats.
Exactly.
You can screw in a weight to those.
Or get turn a boogie board into one. I see a lot of people do that.
I've done that.
That works pretty good. Or they SEAC makes one. Omer Sport Sub's kind of the same company. They make one that's like a big U. And you pad. It's basically an inflatable boogie board. Is the only way that I can describe it. But they make one, and you can store your gear on it, extra gear, stuff like that.
We used to
start doing variable drops using it.
We used to have a sweet rig at Pigeon Key when I worked there. That's how these podcasts work. You mention one thing, and then you start you remember all these stories from that one particular thing. Yeah. So back when I worked at Pigeon Key. Back in the day, we used to dive off the island pretty much every night after the campers would go home, and then we're sitting there like, all right, well, let's go spearfishing, and so we can eat because nobody has money.
Yeah.
We had not even a Walmart boogie board, a Publix boogie board.
Nice.
That's more like a swim board.
The fabric over the styrofoam.
The fabric. It's like white. Like actual styrofoam inside. Yeah.
A cooler lid, a styrofoam cooler lid.
Those things are sick. So we had one of those with like a flag sticking straight up out of it, and then a milk crate just zip tied. Zip ties going straight through the boogie board, and a milk crate zip tied on there, and we'd swim around, shoot a bunch of hogfish and snapper and stuff. Not a bunch, but
enough to eat, and there you go, man.
Chuck them in the milk crate and call it a day.
There you go. So bring a flag, 12 by 12 with stiffener. A little dingy for not having the stiffener is the minimum, but you might as well get the boat flag because eventually you're going to be diving on a boat.
That's a good point. You can get a ticket for not having a stiffener on your flag, which is the little wire that holds the flag out.
Yeah, exactly. So 20 by 24 is the minimum that I would go. With a flag. If you're going to, you have to have the flag. Not only, if it wasn't the law, you'd still have to have the flag, all right? Too many people get hit by boats. We had a crazy story today in the shop of a guy getting hit by a boat. Totally
unexpected story that I kind of got caught up in the middle of.
That was weird. Nuts. But people get hit by boats all the time. You need the flag. This big of a flag. You need a 20 by 24 with a stiffener, and and then as much visibility after that as you want. So get that. A flasher, they make flashers, shore flashers, and they make a world of difference. Slowing fish down, bringing fish in. Flashers are huge. Well, that's a whole nother topic, just flasher use in general. But get a flasher, those JBL, Rob Allen shore flashers, or make your own, something that fits inside of a container. Works really well. And then use Google Earth to scout spots. Google Earth works really well.
If you don't want to buy a flasher, make one. Cheap way to make one: get an emergency blanket, cut a square out, like a 24 by 24 square piece of emergency blanket. Wrap that around like a little lead weight, like the teardrop shaped weights with the big kind of circle in them. Chop it up into strips. You got yourself a flasher.
There you go.
The South African Buzz Bomb, that one's called.
Oh, there you go. We'll definitely have to delve heavy into flashers another time. Flashers are good.
Very good.
Flashers are good. No, I said, man.
Certain areas, definitely they work better than other areas, but
if you're going pelagic out here, if you don't have a flasher, you're not going to get a fish.
Yeah, there's no other way.
There's no other way. All right. Let's do a little gear review. We got to play around with the Rob Allen rollers.
Brand new to the market.
Brand new. This is not a Rob Allen conversion.
Not a conversion.
This is a Rob Allen roller.
From the factory, the muzzle says Rob Allen on it.
Boom. Boom.
So if you haven't heard, you heard it here.
There you go.
Carry them at Florida Freedivers. If you want to get one, that's the place to go.
And you want to talk about a pro for a roller, like one of the pros for it, that price point, man. They're an affordable roller.
Do you know what is it actually? Do you know? I haven't looked.
I can look it up. It's like $100 cheaper than anything else, any other roller we carry.
Okay,
at least $100 cheaper.
That's good. Yeah, but upon my first impression, taking one out of the box and checking it out, I felt like I was a little bit let down. Not necessarily let down, but I was really hoping that they weren't going to use an actual Rob Allen barrel. I was really hoping they'd come out with something with an enclosed track. But I understand what they're doing. They're just making something that works with stuff they already have.
Yeah. And first glance, it looks like a Rob Allen conversion.
Yeah. At first glance, it looks just like a Rob Allen.
Yeah.
Aside from there being a roller band stretched all the way down, it looks. There's nothing really alarmingly
It's a Rob Allen tuna with a roller muzzle.
It's the same handle. It's a Vecta 2 handle, same mechanism. There's really nothing different about the handle and barrel, just the muzzle.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about cons first, because I want to finish with the good stuff.
Okay.
The open track. In my opinion, that's a con. If I have a roller, especially a 100 and above roller, I want an enclosed track. I want to mitigate the shaft width as much as possible. I want to load that thing up, man. It's a single band, and although it's a roller, I like to juice them up.
Yeah. And there's no denying. The facts are there. Enclosed tracks are more accurate than open tracks. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
That's why I recently built my own roller gun out of just like parts, but I used a Mako barrel because it was an enclosed track barrel. There's no denying that. I'm a little bummed out that they didn't come out with an open or an enclosed track rather, but it is what it is.
It's Rob Allen.
That being said, there's a ton of testing that has been done on open track roller guns, specifically on Rob Allen barrels, and honestly, those tests are pretty awesome. I haven't seen any accuracy issues on any of those guns or information that I've been looking at.
Yeah, I think you're referring to the Chris Coates.
I don't know.
However you want to pronounce.
Super awesome.
I'm gonna ask him to be on the show.
I've never met him. I would love to meet him. One of my idols in the spearfishing
so
world.
He came in the shop, and Nolan and I were geeking out on this guy before anyone else realized who it was.
Yeah.
He couldn't be a nicer guy. So nice. But for you guys that don't know, this guy is geeks out on spearfishing more than Eric ever could. He like was into fins
on gear in particular.
Yeah,
I
so
can geek out on some gear.
He geeked out on fins for a while, so he built his own fiberglass fins like 8 different ways. Got into spear guns, built like a bunch of different types of standard spear guns, and then found rollers, and now he is the world-renowned roller expert. He knows more about rollers than he's forgotten more about rollers than I'll ever know.
Yeah.
It's just insane. And it's not theory. He's backing it up, testing everything.
But that's what I like idolize about him. He doesn't sit there and like come up with ideas and figure, oh yeah, like this idea seems great, it must be awesome. No, he sits there and tests all this kind of like everything you can imagine, writes the data down, publishes the data, and says, look, this thing has the best data associated with it. That's what I like because I've tested it, and that's why I like it.
Yep. Shaft diameter to band diameter, like the variables are accounted for and then tested one by one.
Down to different inner diameters of bands, different bearing types in the rollers, like stainless bearings versus ceramic bearings.
Versus, no bearings, self-lubricating nylon deals. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
But speaking of bearings...
Actually, let's look up his website because that'd be a good shout out to give. Because if anybody's looking for information,
especially on rollers, man, this guy is
the place to
go. Roller. It makes my brain hurt a little bit. He's so into rollers, but
my brain dance.
you read 2 seconds into it, you realize that rollers are the way to go.
Yeah.
For a whole gun, an enclosed track roller might not be the best, but everything else.
I mean, what's great about it is he's not just testing rollers. Like, he's testing rollers versus standard guns.
Yeah.
And, has all the data to back it up.
Yep. All right, so while you're punching that, let's talk about some of the pros. Obviously, the price point. It is a cheaper roller. It's basically a Rob Allen with a conversion muzzle on it. But it's the best conversion muzzle on the market, and they price it accordingly. It costs about a little less than buying a Rob Allen and putting a conversion on it.
So it's coatspins.com. If you're trying to get information on guns, spear guns, standard guns, roller guns, you name it, whatever you want. Coatspins.com. So that's COATESMANS.com.
There you go.
Mo's trying to video chat me.
Too late, Mo.
Yeah, too late.
She should have been here. We need a Google girl. Google girl.
So yeah, continuing on that, on the Rob Allen rollers.
Bearings. Those bearings are freaking sweet, dude.
And that's something that seems like it's not that big an issue, or that going to make that much of a difference. Go to Chris Cody's website, check out his comparisons between the two, or between the different types, and you can see there's literally like feet of range difference between different bearing styles. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I feel bad for him. We pronounced his name like 10 different ways.
I know.
We got to get him on the phone and just get it from the horse's mouth. Not only his name, but all this stuff.
It is such a simple name. Like, it's not even. It wouldn't seem like it should be hard to pronounce, but I feel like we're just butchering it. Coats. Who knows, man.
So the bearings on Rob Allen. If you have a roller, spin the roller wheel, see how long it spins for, times that by 100. It's like spinning the best skateboard wheel or the best rollerblade wheel you've ever seen. I mean, these are like ABEC 100.
I was about to go there. I'm glad you took it to the ABEC.
Yeah. And I don't know, they actually kind of sound like ceramic bearings to me. I haven't pulled one apart that far to know. But man, they sound freaking sweet to me.
Yeah, they're definitely good.
Which is nice too. They come with a lot of pretension on it. So what I mean by that is the bands are connected to the muzzle, or not to the muzzle, to the grip, like where the Rob Allen mechanism and grip attaches to the barrel. The bolts that hold that onto the barrel are actually the attachment points for the bands. So if you have like an MBX attachment or the Mantis attachment, it's very, very similar to that.
Yeah, and they went ahead and made their own little stainless knobs, basically, that help keep the bands on there.
Yeah, and they have a huge shoulder on them, so they should... Not only do that huge shoulder will keep it on there, they got a good amount of pre-tension on there. I am...
Stout. I tried to load that thing with a 9/16 load assist. Yeah. You need a 5/8 load assist or bigger.
Yeah, that thing is no joke. You're definitely going to go for that 350% band stretch on there. It's no joke.
Yeah.
But that's what you want if you're trying to get the most out of your roller, which Rob Allen's doing. That's what you need. That is one knock on it. Another knock on it, I guess, is that single attachment point for the bands. If you look at like the Omer Cayman roller, not only is there multiple attachments for the band, you can adjust it. So it'll make loading it a two-stage process, but a little bit easier in my opinion. Load the band, turn the gun on its side, then load the bottom band.
Yeah, and honestly, the way I look at that too, because a lot of people complain that roller guns are more complicated to load, take more time, so on and so forth. And yeah, that may be true. Depends on how you set them up. Depends on how you tune it to your personal style. But generally speaking, I mean, at the most, you're looking at 3 steps to load a multi-stage roller gun, I guess you could call it, like where you got the easy setting,
inverted roller or something
load
like
it,
that.
flip it over, and load it again. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what's the difference in loading one band 3 times, like to 3 different points, and loading 3 individual bands?
Yeah. Except that you get more power and less recoil with the roller.
Like no recoil.
No, if anything, forward recoil, which is freaking crazy.
Yeah. But the key there is no muzzle flip, because that's where you're losing accuracy.
Yeah. And when it comes to that Rob Allen roller comes with a load assist, which is awesome.
This is actually really another good talking point, and maybe we can elaborate on more on another episode, but I feel like this is a good topic. Reducing muzzle flip, another good way to do it besides getting a roller, which is probably the most effective way to do it, just saying. Grip styles, dude. Different, like setting a spearfishing grip up properly makes all the difference in the world in your accuracy.
There's a guy...
And most spear gun grips don't come the way they should.
No.
The way they should be.
Most of them are too small.
Too small and in the wrong axis.
Yep. A bigger grip is a more accurate grip. And I don't care if it... Like, I hear a lot of people say... There's a guy at Florida Freedivers who likes a smaller grip. And he's a tall guy, has bigger hands, and he still likes a smaller grip. It is less accurate, and I don't care what he says. That bigger grip channels that recoil much, much more efficiently. And they're on like spearboard.com, which is like a forum. There's a guy, Spear Q8. That guy is tested. He's another super legit guy when it comes to testing equipment. Tested so many grips, and I mean the jury's in. You need a bigger grip to transfer that recoil more directly down through your wrist, through your arm, through your body. So it's literally pushing you backwards instead of flipping the gun up.
Yeah, and it's more so than just being a bigger grip, and which generally doing this makes it a bigger grip, but they're all like custom formed to your hand, is what they come down to. But what you're looking for is moving the axis of the recoil to the center of your arm. So when your arm is outstretched, you want that spear gun to be lined up perfectly straight with your palm, straight through your arm. And the way most spear guns are set up, straight off the shelf, are putting recoil straight into your thumb, which causes not only muzzle flip, but actually the gun to rotate a little bit too.
There you go. Something to pay attention to. Film yourself shooting the gun. If you want to geek out on something, set up a GoPro and film yourself, and then put it back in slow-mo. It's crazy. Or slow-mo your shots, and you'll see the shaft whip or pull. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Or put a head cam on or a mask mount and slow-mo and watch the recoil transfer through your hand into your arm. Guarantee any gun that you're shooting that's not a properly set up grip, you can watch the gun just twist your thumb like farther back than your wrist. You'd be surprised how far it comes back.
Yeah.
I was watching a video from Spear Q8 of slow mode down or slow motion of the recoil, and his thumb is like just looks so uncomfortable, like it's about to break. It's pretty wild.
It's nuts. But you see that a lot too with people overpowering their guns.
Mm-hmm.
They want like 2-3 quarter bands on there, dude. It's all right. You've just ruined. It's going really fast, but it's going really fast in every direction.
There are I think there's one custom spear gun manufacturer I can think of that actually takes that into consideration and sets their grips up properly.
Crazy. Another good point about the Rob Allen rollers is their line setup. Super straightforward. One, it comes with Dyneema, which I love, Dyneema shooting line. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. We're gonna see a lot more Dyneema shooting line in the future.
I hope so.
But it's run simple.
We should talk about shooting lines and that kind of stuff on its own. I mean, I could talk about that for a while, I feel like. But I used to be a die-hard mono guy, and I've recently switched to the Dyneema.
Mono's faster.
It is faster, and it's easier to replace. It's cheaper, but you got to replace it all the time.
Yeah. You want to talk about the Rob Allen line, the line setup for it, though?
Yeah, so what I like about it, and for me, like line setups on roller guns is pretty important. I mean, it's kind of like a different aspect of roller guns, you could say. They all have kind of weird line wrap systems on it.
Going down the side, all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah. So most of them, like you said, are running the line down the side of the gun, like on the Pathos kit. They run it straight down the side, which works because it gets it completely out of the way. But
same thing on the Koa, same thing on the Omer Cayman.
Yeah, but one thing you run into is on a lot of kits, not especially, on bottom release setups, so where the line release is on the bottom of the gun, your shooting line ends up crossing over the band at some point. Usually, if you're running a bungee, the bungee itself is crossing the band, or if you have a reel that you're shooting, the reel line is crossing the band. And not that that's necessarily an issue. I've shot plenty of guns that are set up that way, and it doesn't seem to really affect how it shoots or entanglement problems. I think I've actually talked about that in a previous episode. But one thing I like is just a clean setup where you don't run into any like crossings and things like that. So one thing I like about the Rob Allen is their line runs straight down the middle, and since you don't have the bands looped around the bottom like you would on a Pathos or the Omer guns or anything like that, the shooting line runs straight down the bottom of the gun and doesn't get in the way of anything. It's pretty cool.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's all on its own, not touched by the bands at all.
That's the benefit of having that single attachment point is you don't have to worry about moving the band forward and backwards, so you can get away with running it down the middle. The bands are always going to be in the same spot.
And that's where I've seen the most problem, is actually one gun in particular, the Omer, which is actually a pretty good gun. Shoots really, really well. I was impressed with it. In closed track, so that's definitely a benefit. But when I load it from the front tab, super easy to load, flip it over, and the bungee and or reel line is right in your way. You actually have to like get your hand underneath the reel line to pull the band back all the way when you flip it. So it's not an issue per se in the fact that the gun is still going to shoot. You can still load it.
It's just annoying.
It's annoying, and I don't like it. It doesn't look clean.
Yep.
I like things to look clean.
I hear you. Simplicity is key, man. Especially when you're trying to like load it real quick.
Mm-hmm. Which is what Rob Allen is known for.
Yep, the Rob Allen roller is sweet, and it's exactly what Rob Allen did. Exactly what Rob Allen does, and it's a high value, awesome roller. Is it the best roller that's ever been made? Nope. But is it the highest value roller that's ever been made? Probably.
Yeah. Can you go buy one for less than most other roller guns on the market?
Yeah, exactly. They were the F-150 or the Honda Civic of spear guns, where it's not a ton of money, but it will start and drive every time you want it to.
And now those platinums are expensive.
There you go. Standard. And now they've done the same thing with the rollers, man. everything you need in a roller, nothing you don't, but it's made very, very well.
Yeah. Robust.
No bells and whistles, but straightforward.
It's got some bells. It's got those bearings in it. That's kind of a whistle. Yeah. Maybe a bell. I don't know which one.
but it should, it's just made well.
Yeah.
It's a thought out, made well gun.
Yeah. And it's all, the materials are all pretty quality. It's all glass-filled nylon. I've made the that's geeking out too hard. I don't think I'll get into that. So, never mind.
There you go. But I like it.
I like it too. Upon first reaction, I'm looking forward to get my hands on one underwater.
All right, man. Well, I think that does it for tonight.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Go ahead and thank our sponsors again, Ballast Freediving, at Ballast Freediving on Instagram. Check them out. They got some awesome gear. And Teach Me to Freedive. That's at Teach Me to Freedive on Instagram as well. You've got your sweet gear from Ballast. You might as well go ahead and learn how to put it to use.
There you go. So, and each Xhale Freediving. Yep. Straight up Xhale Freediving.
We don't mess around with no E.
Just like you see it if you're on YouTube, just like you see it on the subscription.
Yeah, so be sure to leave your comments either on YouTube or on Instagram at Xhale Freediving, like you said.
Rodman _FII.
That's you.
That is me, because I'm an FII instructor. Snapchat, Instagram, get at me.
Is that your Instagram as well? Rodman _FII?
Rodman _FII.
Is it really?
That's my Insta.
All right. You heard it here.
There you go.
Hit your boy up.
Thousands of followers.
I don't know.
I think 2.
On Snapchat? Yeah, I think you have 2.
Oh, yeah. Help me up my Snapchat game, guys.
Hit this boy up.
Hit me up.
Send him your nudes.
Dude, slide him in the DM, right? That's what the kids are saying nowadays.
Yeah. Maybe not. Don't send Rodman nudes. That's weird.
That's weird. I'll frame them and hang them on the wall. My girlfriend will love it.
Send them your spearfishing pictures. How about that?
If you tag me in a photo, I will repost it. Make you famous.
If you wear Ballast gear
Ballast
and
will
tag the picture,
Ballast
will also upload it.
Yeah. They gave away an awesome setup in the Florida Freedivers Christmas party. It was a hat, rash guard, gloves. Like, there's somebody walking around Ballast outfitted.
There you go.
There you go. It's because I like you guys.
I think we need to do Xhale Freediving needs to do an Instagram giveaway.
There you go.
I don't have anything to give away. I've got stickers. It's kind of lame, though. We'll figure it out.
Leave it in the comments what you want us to give away, and we'll pick something.
What do you want to get? What do you want to wear? What do you want to use?
Yeah. What's a cool giveaway? Leave it in the comments.
Let me know. We'll see you next time.
See ya.